Can you get me home? Or will you lead me to another place before I overload into the mess of all our broken ways? Will you say no?
4 weekend grand finals, 120 players in total, and a hell of a lot of servers have been going live. Finally, we are now here. It's Championship Sunday. This is the grand finals of the Global Loot League pre-season 2017. My name is Sims. This beautiful man next to me is Forsen. Forsen, you've been doing this for a while now. You've been watching all these events unfold.
Yes,
We're now coming to the end of the road. You excited?
I'm excited to see who the top teams are going to be today in the grand finals, and most certainly the winner.
I mean, obviously, yesterday you kind of saw how it all went down. We had 4 teams that advances from that the last chance qualifier that we actually did. It was messy. There was a lot of things going on. Dignitas obviously proving that they are a very, very good team within Europe, putting up, I believe it was 23 kills in one of the rounds they managed to clock up, which...
That is pretty sick at this high level.
400 points in one round was phenomenal, and it's only added to the amount of talent that has already been sat there waiting. Names like FaZe, Kingwin, Liquid. We could keep reeling all these off, but some of the very best in Europe will be competing on your screens within the next 10 to 15 minutes, and we're going to get this underway as quickly as possible. And as you can see in front of us, look at these little beauties. We kind of had a bit of a teaser just before if you did tune in, but yep, the team's going to be walking away with these. They also have some in-game items, everything on the line. I think for the moment as well, for the competitive scene, so to speak, it's been a very good practice ground and, time to see kind of who's the best. Not necessarily prove anything, but more events like this is what gives them time to practice, gives them a place to kind of taste competition. And now we're moving into that time where teams are making a few team changes, seeing what works, what doesn't. But being able to play in a full competitive format like this, it's been fun to watch it all unfold.
Yeah, there's been a lot of up-and-comers that started or almost started with this event, like AAA. They started performing here really, really good before they went to Gamescom and won. Oh, not Gamescom, IEM, and won that. So, I mean, they're just one of many teams that actually been starting to perform in these tournaments and then actually perform after that as well. So this has been a lot of good practice, especially since the format is very kill heavy. It focuses a lot on the mechanical aim and stuff as such. So I think that this tournament's been really good for a lot of teams.
It showed a lot of potential, and it showed, kind of things. And this is what GLL have been asking for. If you have feedback on the format, anything they want to hear, they're receptive to the feedback. They've been speaking to the players. It's just been an incredible thing. And one of the pieces of feedback that they actually received through was if you guys at home want to watch a secondary stream, and you can where you are now, you're watching us live on Global Loot League. If you open Global Loot League 2, just the number 2 on the end, you're going to get the map, and you can watch that map. It's interactive. You can watch it. There's a ticker on the side, so you can watch all your favorite players kicking it off and kicking the living hell out of each other on this channel, but you'll have the map showing everyone the rotations, where people are moving to, where the main fights are going to be, and over on Snipe TV as well. Snipe do have the multi-POV, so you can see what's going on. Just lots of new additions, lots of different ways to kind of interact and watch the action unfold, because everyone's still kind of figuring out how to not necessarily observe, but to best present PUBG, because with so many people fighting and so many things going on, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do, and having that map there is going to add a big bonus to people.
Yeah, especially there's a lot of people who don't like the fact that they can't really follow their team as well as they want to, like spectate this team, whenever they're watching a tournament. But now they can actually easier do it, through the map, through the remaining player count on the side of the UI, so to speak. So I feel like this production value is one of the best so far, and I think that a lot of tournaments are going to be copying some aspects of this.
Yeah, the tick is a fantastic addition, just being able to see who's alive and who's not. But again, you can, if you bring up Global Loot League 2, you can actually see in real time, is your best team alive, is your favorite player, your favorite team, where are they going to be rotating from, where they're be coming from. Less about that. You all know about that, especially if you joined us yesterday. Now it's all about these grand finals, this best of 7. Let's take a look at exactly the point system, how the players will be playing this one out. If you are fresh to the GLL, this is exactly it. Top of the board, 200 points for first place. Second place, 150, 125 for third, 100 points for fourth. And then everything below that, up into the 12 to 15 area, is below 3 digits. 90 all the way down to 10, 16 to 20, they pick up absolutely nothing. Now, you touched on the kills a little bit, Forza, and obviously you can see the run down there, 1 to 10, scaling from 5 to 65. But once we get to double-digit figures, it becomes 10 per kill, and you can really rank up the points, which is exactly a prime example what we saw with Dig yesterday.
Yeah, the breaking points are, as you said, at 5+ kills. You get 7 each then, and then at 10+ or 11+ kills rather. Like, you really have to keep count as a team of how many kills you've gotten throughout the game, so that you can either make a good decision to push for more kills if you're at that breaking point, 5 or 11+ kills to get those extra points. Because sometimes it might be worth the risk, considering the high amount of points you get.
So we'll take you through all the rest of it now, the format and how things have been going down. The Grand Finals, which is what you are watching now, these are your prizes. First, you get the gold and level 3, second is silver respectively, and then finally bronze for third place. Plus, the skull skirt, some high top trainers, and the black pleated mini skirts respectively, first through second through third. Some good prizes, and you can actually kind of, you can see them on here. These are pretty incredible, to be fair, handmade.
These are not the ones that they're gonna get though. I think these are just for show. They're gonna make actual metal ones for the winners. So yeah, I mean, I could use one of these to go with my bronze pan from Gamescom. It would look pretty sick.
Have you used the bronze pan? Have you tried to cook anything in it? Have you not bothered?
I have not. I just showed it off every stream.
Just, cooking some bacon and casually all the paint.
I don't know. It might be dangerous, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. If you do own one of the pans at home, just maybe. They're not Teflon coated, so just go very, very careful. But yeah, some of the best teams in the world will be in action tonight, and there's a kind of, just to see a few names, Liquid, FaZe, AAA, IEM winners. I mean, AAA have been looking incredible. It used to be called, if you have been watching it for a while, it used to be called Team Evolve. The French, they've come out to play, and we know kind of, if you look at various esports from across the world and various games, France does harness some absolutely banging players, and the audience and the kind of the viewership behind it and the people that are behind the supporters, should I say, the home crowd, it's incredible. They really do put on a show for these players, and to see them come out in full force. But let's take you through the final 18. Once again, we've had 4 grand finals every single week, but it now leads up to this. FaZe, Ghost, Havu, Penta, AAA, Theatre of Mayhem, Team Liquid, FlyQuest, Hooligans, Gambino, Ronin, Team Random, Blank, Kingwin, Quick Math, Azimuth, Dignitas, and Envy. There's some big organizations in there.
Yeah, Team Liquid has been doing really good recently in this tournament, but they decided to bench one of the players recently, a couple of days ago. So they're going to be playing with one of the Tempo Storm players, actually.
Oh.
Santi. So let's see how that goes. That's kind of a last-minute thing, and let's see if it works out for them.
That's interesting, which is kind of, we did touch on this again yesterday when I was speaking to Lothar and Boogie, that we're at this kind of phase now where they're looking forward to next year. We've seen what this year's holds. It's been a bit of a, putting the toe in the water, so to speak, having a look at how things are going to be playing out. And now teams are okay, what do we need to repair? What do we need to fix? What do we need to change up? And unfortunately, it's the darker side to gaming. You have to drop teammates, not necessarily kicking them, but you have to kind of say, all right, this is a job first and foremost. We need to, organizations, they expect results, and sometimes it's really, really harsh, and regardless of what happens with friendship, and I've seen it for many, many years, you have to do what's best for the team. Yeah. We've seen a couple of big names split up recently. Obviously, Hayes will be backing out from Team Liquid, and again, that's just another incredible player that's thrown into the free agency. I mean, he'd be an amazing, he's one of the best in Europe, top pickups for any team that wants to grab him. And it just kind of, fair enough, it's one team's loss, but it's another team's gain.
It's true. Sometimes it's not about the player's skill. It could just be about synergy with the other teammates, So he's not necessarily benched or kicked because he is the worst player. It could be just a synergy thing, and we don't know actually the reason, so we shouldn't really think a theory craft about it.
Completely agree. Well, speaking of teams, let's take a look at some of the teams that are going to be in action tonight. This, of course, is the FaZe Clan, Fuzzface, Hexate, Mexi, and Jempty. Now, these have been pretty much taking a rather large dump on quite a lot of teams. Let's be honestly blunt about this. We do know Nova is their backup area, but as you can see with the larger parachute, Milta Power is their stomping grounds. They absolutely love to drop here and just kind of check out that East Coast area, maybe move more inland. Obviously, it all goes dependent on where that circle is going to be, and the first one kind of shows up. But you can see there 2 points of origin where they generally start off with. 4th place, IEM in Oakland. And then, of course, the number 1 in the Awesome Premier League. They've been on fire. These guys can slay.
Yeah, absolutely. I consider Small Minute of Power one of the most loot efficient and high tier loot places on this map. And the fact that they have earned the respect and to drop there every game, almost every game, shows a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really like to challenge them. Moving on anyway, our number 2 team is going to be Ghost Gaming. Define Legit, Austin, Opfi, and Mikoi. Now, these guys, obviously, they had a bit of shade thrown their way moving into IEM. There were quite a lot of bits of trash thrown around on social media. But I tell you what, when they went into IEM Oakland, they showed up, and they really turned a lot of faces. The North American team coming 3rd overall at the first major event. 7th overall in the showdown over in Europe, and you can take a quick look at some of their different spots. It's a team that doesn't like to kind of go particularly to one place. You talked touched a little bit, in fact, on Milta Power and FaZe, how they've gained the respect. Nobody wants to challenge the power that is FaZe. But when we look at Ghost, they like to kind of keep it fresh and move around a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the fact that you have multiple options. It's not as easy to counter, you know.
Moving on then, Havu Gaming. I don't really mind. Bikini Model, Jorski, and Enzo Lenzo. This, of course, is Havu. The old organization was called, the team should say, Consona Boys, if you have been keeping up with things. Primos, look at that big parachute. The boys do like to keep it down south and just over by the west coast, so the west coast stays over free and they can move to Ferryport should they need to transfer to somewhere else, like military, for example. 11th place in the Awesome Premier League, 6th in the EU Showdown back in November. Fair few kills between them. We've got some top fraggers on there, but we do need to speed things up, so let's keep on going. Penta, Sports, Froz, Simsy of Doom, Jeems, and Ultra. 17th, not the best of standings when it came to Auckland at IEM, but 3rd overall in the Showdown. A team that will sometimes bump into FaZe now and again because they do like to move it around the Milta area. Triple A against Authority, the French Monsters, Shadow, Shiv, Monkey, and Araxe. IEM Auckland winners. 5th in the APL overall. Now, again, when you look towards kind of what we spoke about, major events, IEM was a major event for this game. It was the biggest one we've seen to date. And to be picking up that first place trophy, it really puts kind of a target on these guys back.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of teams that perform really well online, but when they went to IEM Oakland for the first time, their first LAN tournament as a team, they didn't quite perform as well. And, you know, that's kind of one thing that you really have to work on, your LAN nerves, but that won't maybe matter today because today is online. They're sitting in their chairs that they're used to sitting in, their desk height, their cold, hot, whatever temperature they're used to sitting and playing in. So hopefully we'll see the best possible performance out of every team today.
Another team that does enjoy the Milta area, but again, they'll kind of decide what happens when the drop goes down. Moving on, TOM, Theatre of Mayhem, Chris, Kotastic, Avenger, and Balok. Now, this team has actually split up. They are performing here together. They are one of the very big teams that have completely gone the separate ways. I believe Balok and Avenger may be together. Them two actually won DreamHack in the recent DreamHack event that I was in Sweden last week, so they're coming off the back of an event win. No Pony Rider in there. Obviously, he's left the team, so we will be seeing someone else come into this. 13th in the APL. 7th overall for the Showdown. Big Yasnaya players. We were looking when it was kind of the Pony Rider versus Avenger, so to speak. We were looking for those Yasnaya drop at DreamHack. We didn't actually see many of them. Moving on, 7th place, it's Team Liquid. Molman, Hayes, Ollie, and Scoom. Another set of DreamHack winners, actually. Molman and Scoom winning the very, very first one. 10th, IME Auckland. Had an absolutely banging win, though. Scoom coming in, the captain, the top fragger, the IGL. Absolutely incredible stuff we've been seeing from him throughout many events, in fact, and many online leagues. 22 kills topping the board for his team. Another team that will happily move between areas. Kind of the parachutes that you do see. They like to go up that middle area, look for vehicles, kind of split off from one another, and then really kind of find the footing and meet up at a slightly later game at around the first circle time.
Yeah, they like finding the hard spawns there east of Rosok a lot. They always drop there and just loot those areas and then try to move together. They split up a lot in the start of the game, and then I've seen a lot of times where they actually die. They lose a player very early to getting run over and stuff. It happened multiple times, actually. So it's a kind of a risky strategy not playing together, but it pays off loot-wise and position-wise.
It does kind of beg the question, though. Should they change things up? A few people, well, I know I say a few people, I can't say that. Me personally, I've been thinking, everyone kind of knows where Team Liquid goes. It doesn't seem to kind of work. Should they change it up? We'll see what happens tonight. These guys will definitely want to be going out with a bang. Now, moving over to North America, it's going to be FlyQuest, Blue, Hetra, Comet, and Something. APL ranked 8th, 6th at the North American Showdown. Rossock, once again, we were just talking about Rossock, just to the west between that and school area. It can get quite busy, can Ros?
Yeah, it can, but you still have the option of going towards the Watertown, or whatever you want to call it. It's the different names. I feel like they're one of the few teams who actually likes to loot Watertown, and it's actually not bad loot if you know all the routes and stuff.
That's exactly what you need, though. You need a route through it. I mean, many people call it Atlantis, Watertown, Venice. I even got the chance to speak to Dr. Disrespectful, and his exact words were, I call it a waste of my time. Which, I suppose that's fair play. You need to actually have a very good solution when you go there because the looting is so harsh with the water and just dredging through. But moving on to team number 9 is going to be Hooligans, Fuzzy Potato, Snakers, Slightmares, and Micro Star. Top 20 in the showdown. Not a team that I'm massively familiar with, so I'm looking forward to see what these guys do and how they perform. And around the Yasnaya area, moving up kind of more through, you know, that eastern Badlands kind of scenario. So we will continue through with the teams. Obviously, we need to back off for a minute because the server will be going live very, very shortly. We'll show you the rest of our teams. There are 18 in action. But this tonight is a best of 7. This will really show who the better team is out of this because you can kind of with a best of 7 if you have a very bad drop, if you die early game, which is kind of what we saw on day 1 of, reminds me well of IEM. TSM got battered, game number 1. Yeah. But by the end of the day after game 4, they were number 1 in the overall rankings. So in theory, 7 games, it should give a very even winner.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have been complaining about RNG. I'm coming from Hearthstone, and RNG is an aspect there too, which can be really annoying. But to counter that, you kind of want to play best of 7s, best of 9s even sometimes to show who's actually the most consistent teams in all aspects.
Do you find creativity really does play a part on this if you're kind of in a very bad scenario, but you have to just deal with the situation? Lothar touched on it yesterday when you're looking at, and he used Hearthstone as an example, when someone's got a much better hand than you, it's kind of not necessarily about how the draw, but in which way you counter that scenario.
Yeah, I think you can draw some lines to PUBG as well. If you feel like your only chance is to go for kills later and you want to prevent this one team from gaining any points that game, you can actually just drop and try to counter, because most teams drop at the same place as we just saw. So you can actually try to have a counter strategy where you wait for them to rotate from that compound that you know that they will drop at and try to get them out of the game early so you can get above them in the placements.
So this is another kind of thought process to thinking, all right, well, we just need to aim high. We just need to get some kills. We need to win this game. This is more about, okay, well, let's send someone who's very close to us home early. Let's get them out of the server. Let's delete their characters and kind of say bye-bye, which not only helps you in the long run to try and jump up a place, but you know that it really puts them down from and mixing things up, like sometimes passive-aggressive and just going in and thinking, no, I'm gonna ruin your day.
Yeah.
It can play a part in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're 5th in the rankings and it's the final game and you're pushing to get into that top 3, you kind of want to counter the 3rd team so that you can jump ahead of it. But here we go. We're going straight into the game, and it's an east to west, kind of centered airplane route.
Here we go then, coming in from just above Milter Power and going directly across straight along that yellow line. Look at that, it's going bang on. It's as if it's like a little car just driving along. Plenty of people splitting out. Who's going to be taking Milter Power? Well, who else is it going to be?
Face and Team Random is actually going there this game.
So 2 teams will clash unless they decide to think, okay, we don't really want to pressure Face here. We'll let them have it. They may back off to Mini Power. They may even grab Novo. Several teams moving upwards. Balok and Theatre Mayhem, they're going to go Yasnaya. What a surprise. 1 team will drop down Lepovka, so that has people down there. Novo will be taken. AAA, again, Milter, it's their home. They enjoy being there. That's where they're going to do it. Liquid, it looks like they have opted to go for a slightly different route here. They're actually moving, are they? No, in fact, nope, they're going Rolls, excuse me. We're looking at Liquids, which is Dignitas. Dignitas scouting out down on Sosnovka, some touched already there. That's going to be the team captain. He's made it alive. 1, 2, potentially 3 teams actually up in Georgia Pol. You can see Kingwin. We didn't really touch on Kingwin most. Kingwin recently picking up 2 new players after the IM fallout. Looking to see what they can do. Ibiza is just, and Leighton. The guys are a bunch of tanks, and they're incredible. I can't wait to see what they do in this game. Envious, just towards that west coast. Primos might have someone in there. But overall, pretty decent spread.
Yeah, Envious has been competing against Kinguin at the early game of most of these recent GLLs. This time they have two players very far south, so they're not looking to pick up any fights here with Kinguin unless they absolutely have to. And the circle is a fairly nice one. It's not military. A lot of people have been complaining about military circles because it's not something that you're used to playing. But this East Circle, it should be a fair game for most teams here.
A little bit of water in. Hopefully that does tighten up towards the net circle. One team will push up to the top. That, of course, is going to be Ghost Gaming. They'll take control of Severny. Yasnaya, Theatre of Mayhem. What would he expect? South Georgia Pole in the hands of Kinguin. On the west coast, in the Badlands area, you got Envious spread out. All four players extremely separated. We saw this yesterday where one of the Envious players did get taken out a few times by just touching ahead of George on his own too much. But again, you kind of keep that scout options open. So if one of you dies, at least you all don't die. Penta, little bit spread, trying to look for vehicles. They've all taken their own individual houses. Milter's completely locked down. Milter to Milter Power, that could be rather fun. I mean, you've got another team smack bang in the middle of them as well. So 3 teams all kicking it around the Milter area. Jempty opting to scout up and kind of make early tracks and move his way up north. But they need to be careful because we've got a team in Prison, we've got a team in Lipovka. So all the main areas to where this circle kind of has landed, all the main compounds, they do have teams in there. They've got boots on the ground. I'm interested to see what kind of moves down from Sosnovka Island, how these teams do rotate across. And more importantly, if Envious and Kinguin, they're getting quite close to one another. Larson's extending a little bit too much for my liking, unless it's just the camera angle that I'm at. But they might... Yes, it is. Excuse me. He's in hospital. But Check Shooter may, if he moves over the road, get some information what's going on in there. So everything's still pretty calm. Calm before the storm.
Yeah, we saw one member of FlyQuest leaving the rest earlier to get into a position inside the circle. Scouted a little bit for the team. I feel like he's going around here in the middle, trying to find some nice ridge maybe possibly, or some unoccupied compound for the rest of his team, looting Watertown right now. I feel like Kinguin is one of those teams that have had a lot of trouble recently, looting up in the South George and then getting back into the circle. We've seen almost every time I've seen them trying to get back into the circle late, they lost one member and then be playing a 3-man squad. So let's see if they decide to rotate earlier this time. Most teams have a specific time they want to rotate on, no matter what gear, because position sometimes is way better than having a level 3.
Well, nobody's pressuring him at the moment. They got the back 6 and the front 3. They also have control of hospital as well, so Larson can move back if he needs to. They'll be getting the vehicles. They'll probably hear Envious shortly because Envy do like to get the vehicles and move along. AAA though, making the way. Straight through the middle of phase. Look at that.
Yeah, dangerously close, but they are not aware or close enough. But we see an possible encounter here.
Yeah,
from which team is that? And
there's 2 of them moving forward. He's got to be very, very careful. I think he has the information. EG Dorp looking around. AKM, level 1, level 2. Doesn't look like he has any scopes on the AKM as well, so he needs to be very careful. Jempty's an individual beast, so if you're going to challenge him, you need to make sure you kill him first time round because he will kill you.
So this is Azimuth Lobby. I think it's the first time I see them at this event, and they must have qualified from yesterday.
Exactly that. It's one of our LCQ teams. They did pretty well yesterday, some of the shots they were putting down. Jempty must have the information because he's just kind of holding his position for a moment in time. He has heard some vehicles, and he is on his own. Monkey may potentially be moving over here. Excuse me, Monkey. Mexi may potentially move up to kind of give him a little bit of a hand. Just keeping an eye on things. Mexi and Fuzzfish just talking to one another, making sure they have the information that they need. K knocked out from falling. That's always a great start. Top banter.
Happened there in the center. Yeah.
Is that a fat finger?
That must have been a vehicle crash.
That's a
bike
crash.
Yeah.
Pray for K.
It's not something you want to see in tournaments, especially being alone right now. I think he was scouting for his team, and he's gonna need someone. Oh yeah, there's.
So this could be dangerous in the fact that Tomei is going to go for him. He has to go through the wall of Penta.
Yeah.
Penta can either melt this vehicle or melt him when he stops, because they'll have the information. You can hear these bikes from distance. You know when a vehicle stopped.
He does have a bike though, which is one of the harder vehicles to hit, but it's also the most dangerous one going full speed with, as we can see with this teammate being knocked out. I think he's gonna get the rest here though. The wall did not hold.
Oh. Well, James fancies it. James is getting the info. He's going to push up just a little bit. Will he take the? Will he press the issue though? Will he step back? I think.
Did he see that he was knocked down? Did he see him crawling? I don't think so.
Don't think they've got
killed
that
him, right?
much info.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, they will get the player back up. So back onto a full team of 4. Let's take a look at the bigger pitch. Then, just while things are a little bit calm, guys, things will kick off very, very soon. Make sure you tweet the stream. Use the hashtag GLL. These, of course, is the Grand Finals, pre-season 2017. We've had 4 Grand Finals throughout the weekly events so far. People have been working their asses off to get to this point. This is the best of 7. It's going to be a long night, and I really do hope you join us all night long because we're in for some incredible action and really see who are the most consistent team against all those 7 matches. Now, here comes the initial push then. Everyone working their way in. Will we get a few late arrivals? It feels like everyone is getting rather central rather early. No one creeping on the edges here.
Yeah. Not every team favors playing edge. Oh, we see some engagement here from Penta. Is trying to occupy that factory potentially, but having to back off right now.
Shots come in. Penta say, nope, we're not losing a player so early on. We might as well kind of get away from there. I'm not a big fan of that hangar anyway. You usually get
it's hard to hold, I feel like.
There's never anything in it. I think if one person goes in, they might get a couple of a first aid, maybe a an AR, but overall, it's not the greatest loot in the world. Everyone's kind of banking on for this circle to shift dead center, it feels. Everyone's really getting stuck in, and no one's kind of sitting on the edges for me.
Penta is one of those teams that really enjoys playing edges, but on this side of the map, the edges aren't that great. We have a lot of compounds on hills that can see over, and a lot of open field without any trees even. So they have to find another solution here, and it seems like they want to go for this factory as of now, and we have this compound, the blue compound northeast of it, which is a really good compound too, in my opinion, but it's hard to protect your vehicles in it.
Protecting is what they're going to do. They're going to back them up into corners, make sure the tyres stay fully inflated. We have the little mini compound, so James can be the eyes and give them the information and try and read some of these rotators. I mean, it's a very open area. I mean, look at that. Everyone really is banking on this going dead center. That is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Circle 1 hasn't even pushed in yet.
It hasn't, but if it does towards that center, it's really hard to come in late because all the compounds will be occupied, and as I said before, the area is very, very open, and you can't really get cover behind trees in this part.
Good lord. I mean, just look at Penta there. Currently in the Lion's Den. The one place that I like is Theatre of Mayhem, Yasnaya. That's still in, so they can get heavy looted. They're their only team. They're doing all of that entire complex. They can sit, they can chill, they can wander, they can kind of do what they want. Ghost Gaming just up in the fields of wheat. They're going to be keeping an eye on Yasnaya if Theatre of Mayhem do want to travel down. Envious just playing against the blue, but they've all got vehicles, so they'll be laughing. One team. Crypt moving in with the vehicle. He's got some of his teammates in the back also. And if we just look out towards the water, Digger going for a cheeky camp and hoping that someone may come out of Novo, but it looks like they've all got boats and they're going to rotate around and come in potentially just above Lipovka.
Yeah, AAA is also moving out now from Multa for the first time, and they have one compound secured by AA Monkey, so it should be an easy rotation there for them.
And it's a really good compound as well. They've got a decent one. Jempty finally gets the call that he needs to move out of the way. Fuzzface gets caught by a bullet, and painkillers will come in, which suggests that maybe he doesn't have a first aid. A bullet comes back as an answer back. Don't you shoot my friend. Tume, he is pushed 4 times on the scalp, so he can do some damage. But I tell you what, he got battered then.
Yeah, having to back off here. Fuzzface should take this time to... Oh, there's too many people shooting him right now. He can't really move. He needs to rely on the backup from his teammates. If they decide to flank here, he's not going to be able to protect himself from all angles.
There's so many people. I mean, what can you really do? Look at that. He just steps to the left. He gets shot. Steps to the right. He gets shot. I mean, he's doing the right thing. He's putting a bit of pressure on this one player, but that player he's shooting at has the advantage. He has the hard cover.
Yeah, a smoke wouldn't be too bad in this situation,
Yeah,
but he
down.
gets knocked out there, and his teammates are not going to be able to save him from that far away.
Okay, comes in then. Fuzzface will fall. Will FaZe be the first victim of this first server? One of the stronger teams, certainly, I have to say, in this event. And just in Europe in general, they're a powerhouse when it comes to slaying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit surprised he was so far away and down the mountain from his teammates. We see Tumaina trying to make it over for some reason.
Gets pushed back. Oh, in fact, Profi knocks out. Remember what I said about where exactly Ghost Gaming was? Just waiting in the field.
Yeah.
It's worked. It's paid off. Theatre of Mayhem have come out, and unfortunately, Avenger's dead. Balok's dead. They've just fallen victim.
Yeah, they did not expect that. And the last member, where do we have him?
I think he's up in the top. It's Chris. He's still in Yasnaya, but the rest of them rotated, and yeah, it looks Ghost Gaming set the trap and just completely battered them.
Ooh, an ambush here from Kinguin onto Envious. The old rivals once again. Doesn't matter where on the map, they're always gonna fight it out like this.
Pens to pick up a kill. Trandom will fall. Vehicle explosion comes in, and it looks like it's going to be Kinguin taking one out. That'll be Envious.
I think
Plenty of people dropping on
they
Envy.
killed 3 Envious members.
Yeah, looks like it. We'll keep a track on that one. Theatre of Mayhem down to 1 player remaining. Potentially the same for Envious. Keep an eye on that tracker, guys. It will update very, very soon. The admins in the back will be able to confirm, but I do think you were right. It looks like they may have taken 3 of them out in pretty much one foul sweep.
Yeah, quite a decent position there, but I'm surprised that Kinguin did not take any fire from the factory where Penta is sitting. Maybe they have a small ridge that covers that area, but I think that they were line in sight.
I haven't seen much of Liquid. Where's Liquid in this? In all this is going down. I've not really. They haven't kind of shown the faces at this moment in time, and in theory they should be. They should be the ones that are really getting all up in this because they like to sit central. They like to play around this area.
Yeah, let's see where we have Liquid right now. They are currently... I have no idea where Liquid is.
I think they've moved somewhere different than we don't actually know. Check shooter, potentially the last tier for Envious. Yes, it is. You can see Toomey wants this one though. They want the kill.
Yeah, and he's in a tricky situation now with taking fire from the both west and a team above him, FaZe on the east. So he's gonna have a hard time surviving this probably if he has to move out of this later.
So he's in a scenario now where for him, survivability is the only option. You're not, as a one-man band, you're not going to get loads of kills, so there's no point in getting these kind of... Ooh, actually Froz has just been taken down. Look at that. Pandux with a headshot from the K98. 762 finds its target. He drops. We'll see if we get a kill in the kill feed there. It'd be interesting to see if Penta lose the team captain so early on. But going back to check shooters kind of position and the same for Theatre of Mayhem with Chris, for them it's just a survivability game. The more fights that you survive, the more players that drop around you, the higher up you're going to get points for placing, because if you're down at the bottom, you ain't getting anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to see him stop firing at any team at this point. He was taking some shots there, maybe to scare them off or show that he is willing to fire back. But he should just play very, very passively right now. And we've seen in the past, actually, teams losing their whole squad except for one, and then him making it to top 3, top 2 sometimes by just snaking all the way and really playing passively. So it might work out for him too. He is quite centered.
Havu now making the way in. Chris is going for a drop. 1, 2, 3 crits, all inside the center circle. So he might have some big boy guns in play. Chris wants a bit of revenge for his fallen comrades over on Theatre Mayhem. He'll be more than likely playing off the back of that box if it's not already inside the city, so you can get a hold of it. Expect to see either a 249, 24 and AWM in play. With so many boxes, you'd expect at least one of these teams to grab the gun. Final circle is going to be pushing on in. Final team also making the way in as well.
Yeah, Havo being the only team right now who wants to play Edge, which is surprising. Usually we have at least 3 teams wanting to play Edge, but right now everyone else has a good compound in the middle, and they're satisfied with that.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with this next circle, because all of them, in theory, all of them could get really punished if it's a steep move. I mean, I can understand why they're doing it. You've got half of the circle in the water. You're kind of edging your bets that it's going to go central because and hoping that it comes back from water. So I understand the the idea behind it. But it could mess up a lot of people if it goes heavy north. There's not a great deal down there. If it goes heavy south, you'll see the rotations down to the lumberyard.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of compounds that aren't occupied, but they can't know that really, so they don't really want to take the risk if it goes north. So it will be an interesting circle for sure. Even an east one would be very interesting.
Am I blind, or do I not see liquid anywhere? I can't. Every time we look at that, I don't seem to find them. I'm sure the observer will be able to help me out and show me where they are, but I just can't. I can't pick them off anywhere.
Are they dead? Actually, you're right. I haven't been able to see.
I haven't seen much of them, so I mean, we.
Oh,
keep
there we
looking
are on the west side.
Ah, so
There
they're
we
in
go.
with. Okay, so
So it was because Santi was in the way of the name
Yes.
tags. Yeah, okay.
the brother of Gemtip playing with them, playing off with them by the looks of it.
So the circle is about to close in, and we're gonna get an update on the second one. This is what everyone is waiting for, standing next to the vehicles, ready to go. And it is a very center one again.
Done it. Okay, so they put the bets down, and it looks like they managed to come up trumps, to be honest. Everyone only has a few, if it's 40, 50 meters to move, but you said how many compounds are actually free at this moment in time. Now it's going to be looking for kind of a decent hill space.
Yeah, I'm scared here for Kingwin's sake, because there's not a lot of places on this side. There's more on the east side ridges, but on this side they can't really stop, so they need to go full east here, I feel like. All the compounds are already taken. They're actually, yeah, it seems like they're going full east here, and they're actually gonna have a bit of an encounter here, a drive-by, right next to them.
And now they'll opt to dump. Nice little bit of a defilade. They can play this one, especially with the vehicles. Build the wall. One up, and here come the players. You mentioned this, where it's going to be Ghost Gaming. They fall victim. McCoy gets booted out the back. The UAZ is smoking. Easy kill there for Larson. Ibiza does knock him, and he finished him off. Potato comes in, though. The explosion goes down. Austin gets blasted off of the server. Unfortunately, it's going to be Kingwin who don't get that kill, even though they did the work for it. I saw in the kill feed also Frozerance him back, and again a bit of revenge for himself with a Kar 98, landed one on a headshot. And this is, yeah, this is really messy.
Yeah, Havo still at the edge. In the meantime, we see a little bit from the counter here. This is a great compound to have at this stage as well. You have the level 3 building, you have 2 other buildings, you don't have to stay all in one. And you have great overview over the east side if it happens to shift towards the east side later on. And it's a downhill on the west side as well, so...
You can generally watch everything from that point.
Yeah.
But Havu and also Enzo Lenzo. Havu losing 2 there, so 2 players falling to the hands of FaZe. Kingwin knocks out Havu as well, so it looks like Havu just been ripped apart. The last team to approach the final circle and rotate inwards. I think if they're not already dead, they may at least have 1 player left, but everything just kind of seemed to go bad in the kill feed there for Havu, unfortunately. They'll have to regroup and see what happens in game number 2. Several teams are, yeah, in fact, I don't really mind. The only last player here, just driving between both FaZe and Kingwin. The entire team just got melted. Jorski also drops down, so it looks like they were split off, but he is down, and that for me is leaving Havu with 1 remaining player. Lush, just looking at I don't really mind. He does need to try and stay alive. Tomei's got his back as well, so they're still playing on this defilade side just to the west side of Priz. It's a nice little area. It's also quite quiet. They don't know that, but we do.
Yeah, right now the new team, what was their name again? The Azimuth Lobby. They're actually being in a tricky situation here, not being able to rotate easily with a Penta compound there, covering a lot of that area actually through the factory. But they're deciding to rotate right now. More north-ish. Oh, they're actually gonna play circle, I think. I mean circle edge behind the vehicles here. It's possible.
To be fair, they do have a little bit of an incline. Obviously, when you drop down to this compound, you've got that little bit of a ridge. They've also got the tree line, so they can play this if they want to, and it's also quite smart. They might play Penta at their own game. Penta may be waiting this team out, but they may also say, okay, well, we have vehicles. We know that Penta have, but we could also try and have a crack at them when Penta... They know Penta has to move, and they have to come out of that compound at some point, so they could kind of play off their own game here. Jeems obviously still sitting tight in the little compound just ahead of them, but let's watch this circle and all the action unfold. 1 team to the top, just rotating down past Lipovka. Everybody but Chris inside this circle. The last man standing for Theatre of Mayhem. Dignitas, you can see shots coming on, having a quick pop over at Envious. I think it's Caden who's still chilling. Excuse me, it isn't. It's Chick Shooter still chilling. Circle pretty much goes smack bang in the center. Interestingly, I've got to say, Forsen, Mansion's untouched.
It is, and I think people are expecting a lot of people to be there. So no one wants to approach it because it's a death trap. If they actually wait with shooting and then they let you come up and then you just blast off at the same time.
Ollie will go down for Liquid. Gets knocked out of the car. Molman's also completely battered. Molman decided to opt to jump out and try and defend. It'll be interesting. Does he have time to get Ollie up? I don't think anyone's near him.
It's possible, yeah, I think so. He's a bit scared of people rotating him from the east, but he's going to go for it right now. The shed is perfect for this. Without the shed, it would have been way different. Yeah, he's waiting for him to actually crawl into the shed before he rests anyone.
Spadge knocks out legit. Suntouch comes in and kills. Seals the deal. Dignitas taking one member of Ghost out. Ghost getting picked off player by player as just rotate around in the vehicles. Mansion, though, finally does have a team turning up. Simsy of Doom hanging around for Penta. They want to try and get a hold of this team. Azimuth, who has just been banking on them, moving out. Bullet comes in. You see the blood splatter. Time to fall back in. Level 2. So I think they've all got at least a half-decent bit of gear. Level 3 coming out of Ultra with the helmet.
Interesting move there. They sent out one player. They only had one UAC, and they sent him out first, and then they started firing at Penta, just staying behind. Interesting little strat there, and EG drop is about to drop. Maybe.
Still alive.
I think you can see him under.
Depends. I mean, if you were very clever, he'd punch out. In fact, EG should punch out the tires on his side, and then he can at least keep it. Meanwhile, K thinks, well, I just need to keep popping away at this vehicle. If he does have the bullets, you could eventually just slowly burn it down and make him scared if you really want to. He hears some shots coming in, though. The silenced M4, level 2 helmet. Only level 1 chest, so if Lush takes a bullet, it's only 30% deficient on damage. It's not the best in the world. It's still going to really hurt. A fair few bullets will easily kill you. Plenty of vehicles here for this team to move around and rotate to where they need to be. They'll take the rock. Monkey on Molman. Headshot comes in with the Scar. He will get dropped. So Liquid find themselves losing another player. Pixon knocking out Suntouched. That's going to be Dignitas, unfortunately, losing a player as well. Liquids comes back onto Trandom, and we'll just try and keep running you through this kill feed, keeping a tabs on what's going on. It looks like at the moment to me as if Dignitas are having a bit of a problem, and they took the buildings earlier on. Simsy of Doom answers back to Edgy, hiding behind that vehicle, which we saw earlier on. Ibiza takes out Havoki. Monkey finally killing Molman, gets the down and gets the kill as well. Tommy will at least kill EG, hiding behind there. Larson, Ibiza, Kingwin doing work. Finally, Liquid will lose a team member. Araxe and Shiv, they take out Ollie. He is dead.
Yeah, because of the low amount of compounds in this zone and amount of open areas, everyone's just dying suddenly. There's no way to really take cover from all angles, so people just have to fight it out and secure a big flat area of space for themselves. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of people snaking, but that is a horrible circle for most teams because there's nothing but open area actually there.
However, FaZe's patience has paid off. They've been... I'm interested to see what the loot's like for FaZe because they moved rather early. They dropped Millie. They know that AAA is obviously going to be pushing them, rushing them, maybe potentially.
Yeah, the problem is they have a player behind them in the blue right now. It's the last player of Envious, Check Shooter, and he's just healing up in the blue, trying to get a potential backstab in the end. Oh, but they actually know that it's there, I think, because they're hugging the end of that circle, aiming down from time to time.
It's going to be Team Liquid here. Scoom and Sampty just prepared to take this fight. If Mexi come round the corner, he's going to get a face full of lead. I can see by the outline that's only a level 1 helmet. It's a level 1 on Scoom as well, so the gear, not the best in the world. Quick math and random, you can see down in the ticker, they're out of the competition. Our first 2 teams have fallen of Game 1 of the preseason finals here at GLL. And look at this, it's a fireworks show right now. Galaxy knocks out Pride. Kingwin once again claiming another scalp. They're almost dead center, and they're happy. Look at this. You've got a Scar. It's silenced. Why not just try and pop these people from a distance?
Yeah, wonderful feeling shooting with a silent Scar. And right now, I'm not sure what exactly their cover is from behind, but it should be fairly okay considering they're not even peeking there. Yeah, they have a nice little ridge there, actually. It's a really nice, but I didn't actually know about this one.
I mean, Scar and angled as well. I mean, that's a big a big help when it comes to the the movement, so to speak. He's not necessarily the best in the world when it comes down to spraying.
Wow, did that just land there for them?
They have, they've been gifted. They have been gifted. There you go, Kingwin. Have a crate, my friends.
But it's so dangerous to go for it though right now. They have 4 players remaining though, so they could potentially send one there if they want to risk it.
Once again, with the scout, the angled, and the silencer, it's going to stop the deviation. It's not the best for spraying, but if he just does it at distance, happy days. Araxe knocks out one. Ricknaz comes in, hits Araxe back and answers him. Microstar takes out one as well.
He just ran
FlyQuest.
over a AAA player with the vehicle. He
What?
he just got sent flying.
Did that actually happen?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, we can't be happy about that. A grenade, nice grenade coming in. Oh
It crushed
my
him!
god, what is this?
The car
Action
crushed him, I
movie.
think.
Yeah, I think so too.
He landed on top of him. If he didn't land on top of him, at least the explosion took him out. That's a massacre. All right.
That is. That was some real action going on there.
Now, you spoke about the crate and where it is. All right, they've been gifted it, but if they do move to it, you're right. They're just going to get nailed because it's so far. Now it's center of the circle and it's so far out in the open. If they get greedy on this,
Yeah,
I mean, I'd expect someone like Kingwin to be a bit more patient.
Yeah, I mean, when you have 4x scopes, you have ARs, you don't really need that sniper, potential sniper. It might not even be one, you know. It might be a thing if you lost your helmet in that, to go for it and risk it, or body armor. But other than that, I would not go for that crate.
Ghost gaming it down. I'll also see several other teams. Envious have gone. The one player's finally had it. Oh, so Liquid, they also went. Even though we saw Scoom just banking on the edge there, he's dead. So, a fair few teams starting to drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Less than 10 remaining now. Kraken, center of the circle. 1, 2, 3 teams creeping on the edge. Triple A looking for a spot and getting that information of when it's time to come in. Dignitas are there. The people who could really cause some upsets, Penta and FaZe. They're still outside. They need to make their move.
Yeah, Penta is right now hugging the edge of the circle, and they're showing no signs of approaching the middle. I think they know that they are pretty screwed this round, most likely, so they're just trying to hold on as long as possible. Yeah, they're getting massacred right now by Kingwin, but they're also firing back some. Oh, he kills himself to deny the points. That is incredible.
You cruel man. I mean, I like it, but
But
it's a good play to stop anyone giving any more points
He
away.
mistimed it though. He should have thrown it before getting knocked out and then get killed by the explosion. So a little bit mistimed, but it was smart thinking. I never seen that before in the tournament scene actually.
Well, if you try, you don't want to give these, and which is what's happening now. Penta have decided to die outside the player zone rather than give away the kills because they know they're in sort of trouble. FlyQuest, though, they could be the ones to ruin the day here for Kingwin. Everyone banking on where this next circle is going to be. There's only one, maybe 2 players that are directly inside. Dignitas just off to the right, which is going to be a big fight between Kingwin and Dig, who can kind of win this east side of the circle, so to speak. Grenade comes down, another death will fall. Jempty hits the floor, Kraken's banking on the side. I think Jempty might actually die off that. He's the walking wounded right now. I very much doubt anybody would go for the save. Sun touched, he's going to leg it, but unfortunately the firing squad's here. Kraken sees what's going on, and look at those bodies. They're all hitting the floor. 1, 2, 3. In fact, that's a knock as well. So 2 players going down to the hands of Kraken. Kraken gets answered back. Zyphon comes in. Hexit also sees Slightmares. He's going to knock him out. Hexit then gets answered himself. So at the moment, he's just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, Hooligans right now looking kind of strong with 4 players remaining in the center. The only team taking some control and playing as a team is very, very important now with little to no cover. Just covering each other. Great grenade there.
It blew the bike up and it took him out.
Yeah, it did actually.
It literally blew the bike and took him out. So Kingwin lose a member. Larson's caught in the grass. I think they know where he is. I've just seen him get clipped. Something's going for another one. FlyQuest just, in fact, no, he's not. They're putting down the smoke so they can opt to move. 9 players remaining. Zyphon goes down, so that might be the end of Dignitas. We'll have to look around and see if we can. No, it's not. Excuse me. 2 players at Dig still on the side there. Triple A. They have 1 remaining in the middle. The nail comes in, though. The nail in the coffin for Ibiza. It comes back and he gets answered. Larson.
I don't think he's going to have time to pick him up. He's going to have to crawl forward here. And I feel like Ibiza should not crawl towards his teammate right now.
Give him away.
Yeah, it might be a mistake. So he crawls out of the zone, yeah. That was actually exactly what I was
Larson,
thinking
you're
about.
dying. Don't back up. He just gets touched for a second. 5 players. 2, 2, and 1. Hooligans, Dignitas, and Kinguin.
Yeah, right now no one wants to fire the first bullet here, because if they do, they will surely lose because of the third team being in this equation.
So he's just died. So Hexate comes in and sees one. That actually finally died. So that was a knock initially.
Yeah.
So he was not able to pick him up, and now we're into a 2-1-1. Larson just...
Ooh, great grenade there.
Oh my God.
Almost killing both Dignitas players. That was really close.
Vertical foregrip, silencer. Getting the vert on for the spray. Checking the angles. Both of Dignitas are going to be damaged now. Spots one, tap, tap, tap. Will he get this knock, though? He needs to, and then he needs to look for the second one because he's giving away his position. Liquids doesn't actually have the information. He's still not looking from behind. He hits the deck. And now we're into a 3-way battle.
So this is even more than before. Whoever shoots the first bullet is most likely going to get second place in this one.
The drill comes down. Larson sees it. They kill off each other, and there you have it. Kinguin come out on top. 7 kills from Larson. What a belting start to game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. They picked up 16 kills in total, which is going to give them a nice little additional boost in points, which is very nice. We don't see a lot of kills this game in total because of so many people deciding to suicide and die outside the play zone, denying those points for the opponent teams. So that's why we see such a low kill counter out of all the top teams right now.
Hooligans coming in second. Then we see Dignitas in third, AAA in fourth, and FlyQuest coming in hot in fifth. So, very good game so far. Larson just kind of playing he was very patient at the end. I have to give him credit where credit's due. I mean, it's always a ballsy player to kind of stand up and be the one that says, all right, I need to get stuck in here and make this first initial engagement.
Absolutely.
The fact he had the silencer on the gun was a very big win, because that then when you looked to Dignitas' second player, he didn't know where he was shooting from. If he'd have just fired with the AKM, for example, one, you have to control the AKM's wild spray as it is, but two, more importantly, that silencer makes the second player on Dig think, Christ, I don't know where this is coming from. Just being a very not passive, but just protective player.
Yeah, even if it just takes you 2 seconds longer to find your opponent in that small area, it's such a big deal. You know, it can make all the difference in that end game.
Well, big shout out to Kinguin there. Congratulations to them. They take game number 1. Very smart players, obviously, at the end. We just saw one player, the team captain, Ibiza, say, nope, I'm going to die to the circuit. In fact, you saw quite a few players just denying, and we kind of said this is why you might see it necessarily in GLL and not others, because the point system really does begin to rack up when you start feeding, not necessarily feeding teams, but if they can happily just feed away and keep taking bodies, keep taking scalps, it ranks their points up and makes it so hard to take them down.
Yeah, this game there were almost no teams that made it past the 10 kill breakpoint for maximum amount of points per kill. So we're gonna see a lot of even scores here, I feel like.
Is this the one where the vehicle may have actually hit him?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so he actually gets pinged out of it, and he runs. Yeah, so this is the one where I want
Grenades
to
are
make
coming
sure.
in here.
This was an interesting one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it did. Holy, and it just crushed him. The vehicle literally crushed him.
Yeah, grenades are a powerful thing against vehicles.
So the grenades playing a pivotal part, and this is another one which did some serious damage. Law just got nailed.
Yeah,
And then again, the bike blowed up.
explodes on him and kills him.
But it were almost a 2-for-1 at the end with Dignitas against that tree. Just a couple more, another inch, and I think that would have been rest in peace.
Yeah, both of them. It was a really good grenade, actually.
So, there you have it then, guys. Incredible stuff so far. I really do hope you're having fun at home. Certainly we are on the desk. This is only game number 1. This is a best of 7. This one game, all right, kind of sets the tone, kind of sets the standard of the evening. But overall, it doesn't mean that all these teams, even if they came last, they're completely out of it.
Absolutely not. There's still 6 more games to go, and anything can happen.
Stay tuned, guys. Make sure you go grab yourself a coffee. We're going to take a very, very short break. Tweet the stream. Use the hashtag GLL. Come on. We've got some high-level action going on here. Some top. Some of the best in the world, in fact, of PUBG teams from North America and Europe. Don't go anywhere. See you in a second.